Well guys, so today gonna rip into making some rollaway nesting boxes. It's something that I've been meaning to do for a while, and yeah, the other day went and picked up some 12mm treated ply, and we're gonna make it out of that. So this idea I've got online, I've been through heaps of different stuff to sort of try and figure out what may work best for us, and basically the nesting box that I'm going to build doesn't have any individual dividers in it. I'm going to try out this method more for the fact that down the track, if I need to, I can divide them up. But the way our hens lay a lot of the time anyway, they all like to be in one nesting box. Like we have, for 16 chickens at the moment, I've still only got 2 nesting boxes that they can lay in, which is working fine, just the time of day that they're all laying. But predominantly one of them will get the bulk of the eggs. So we're getting somewhere between 10 and 12 eggs at the moment a day. I've already picked out 10 today, and it's only like 11:30 in the morning. And yeah, as the days progress, getting more daylight hours and that sort of thing, I suspect that we will start to get more, and probably get to a point where we're getting sort of 14 eggs a day. We may get every single chicken laying each day, I don't know. They're all sort of 2-3 year old chickens, so it may happen. But yeah, long story short, pretty much one of the nesting boxes will get sort of 8 or 9 of the eggs, and then the other one only gets 2, 3, whatever it is. So my theory is that if I just have an open box that they can get into, then they'll all be happy. And being red shavers, they're not a small chicken, but then they're not a very large chicken. And then as we get more chickens, we may get a few barred rocks and that sort of thing. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm probably going to stick to the red shavers because I quite like them. They're not asshole chickens like I find with the barred rocks. We've had them in the past and they fight a lot, and yeah, we've had a lot of issues, so we'll probably stick to the red shavers. But yeah, I'm just going to go through it. I'm going to sort of put a bit of a time-lapse video together, just showing the process that I do, and then I will explain the measurements and all that sort of thing later. It's very simple, very basic, and then yeah, hopefully tomorrow you guys will be able to check back in and we will see how the boxes are working, or how the box I should say is performing, and yeah, cleanliness of eggs, because that's another big thing now that we're selling them. I'd rather not have to be mucking around washing them and all that sort of stuff. I'd rather just be able to collect them and just chuck them straight in the fridge ready to be sold. So yeah, we'll get into this. Hope you guys enjoy.
Space,
so the point I'm at now is I've got these are just offcuts from the angles of this, but they're off the one I've stuffed up. So I did stuff up one, but that's all just part of it. It doesn't really matter. I can use it for something else, but yeah, so then that way it's got a steady gradient, the same the whole way down on each side, and then I'm just going to put a piece of timber between there at the back just for support. But yeah, and yeah, I know I should have used framing in that in here, but hey, we're only dealing with chickens. This will do, screwing it straight into the plywood. It's thick enough to handle it. Right, we'll crack on, get the rest of it finished up, and then I can show you guys the end product. So guys, this is pretty much the end product. It's not perfect. The fake grass is quite hard to cut bang on when you don't have a nice straight table or something to work on. Now I had to go and use an old piece of plywood on the top, unfortunately, because I rushed things a bit too much and stuffed up one of the measurements. But technically speaking, this whole nesting box could be built out of one piece of plywood. So right at the moment I'm going to see how they go just with the one, and if it works fine, then I'll just put this other sheet aside and build another one when we get to the point of getting more chickens. So yeah, I'll just use a couple of eggs for sort of demonstration. So the chickens of course would come in, and then when they lay, they always lay sort of the eggs sort of plop onto the ground, so basically straight away they're just going to roll. And then you know, it doesn't really matter, try and not put a spin on one, I'll just do it as if a chicken was laying it, so it'd be about that far off the ground. Yeah, and then I'll put this bit here so it's a bit more enticement and doesn't seem so weird, so I'll just hop up and get in there, and then it's just a matter of open the flap. And yeah, as you can see, I've got the grass, so I put a bit in here to support this front face, but I've got the grass sort of tilted up in here just to, so it's not such a hard surface that the eggs smacking on, and it also gives it a curved effect in there as well, so when the eggs come down, they sort of, instead of like coming down and then smashing into something, they sort of would more come down and then roll if they were like, you know, at a bit of a speed, which isn't going to happen. But yeah, and then basically you just get eggs out of there. So yeah, very simple design. One piece of plywood if you do everything correctly and don't stuff it up like I did, but of course this is the first one, so I got plenty left over, fake grass, another sheet of ply, and then yeah, I'll probably look at building another one. Now for legs, I'm just going to use a piece of just macacarpa that was out of the bundle of firewood, or for firewood that I bought. So I'm just going to cut that, and then we will get this set up, chucked in there, and then I'll just show you it finished and set up, and then hopefully tomorrow we can collect some eggs out of it some point. Right, so it's set in place now. As you can see, there's not much gap between the bloody wall and there, so that's going to be the next task, I think. The girls can come in and have a nosy anyway. But yeah, next task I think is going to be bringing this piece here out to where there's this piece of timber already in here, and then I'll basically have it so one half can be for the chickens, and then I can clean this area up and actually use it properly. But yeah, they're already having a gander at it. So we'll see. As you can see, there's plenty of room there. Yeah, basically, don't screw whatever you use inside the nesting box, don't screw it in. So then that way you can just easily pull it out and give it a wash, maybe once a week or so, I don't know. We'll see how this goes. They're already being nosy and having a look, so fingers crossed that they'll lay in there and they're not going to just decide that they're going to try and lay in the dirty bloody hay that's on the ground just to keep them insulated at night. But yeah, basically it's 1.2, I guess you'd call it long now, 1.2 long. The base is 600 deep, and then that gives me 450 in the box, 150 mil rough, roughly area for the eggs to go and sit into, and then it's 400 mil high. It's 450 mil high. At the back where that slant starts, it's 400. I've noticed that these chickens, like, everybody is going to be different. The biggest thing is if you've already got chickens, of course, and you're wanting to build these roll-away nesting boxes, observe your chickens as much as possible when they're laying and all that sort of thing. So I've tried out different things, and I've used sizes for nesting boxes based on what they recommend online, just to test it out with just cheap products, like not really costing me anything. The size that they recommend online, our chickens do not like laying in when there's a lid. Now obviously they've already gone straight into here happy as, so that's why I've made it at least 400 to the top, and then that should keep them content, because I've been trying 300 mil high, 300 mil deep, 300 mil wide, and they were never happy. They didn't want to lay in an area like that. If it had no lid, they were fine. They'd get in there because then they can move around easily. But yeah, that's why I built this box the size I did. And then yeah, it starts off at the back. It's 100 mil, where I've got the floor slanting, so it's 4 inches. And then yeah, that seems like it's not too fast of a roll away. Seems quite steady. So yeah, as I say, check back in if you're interested in this sort of thing, and we'll see how this pans out. But yeah, next task with these chickens will be to make this coop area bigger, and then that way I'll actually be able to put this nesting box up against the back wall, and then if I build more down the track as we get more chickens, then I have plenty of space to put another one in the same size, built out of one sheet of plywood, and then I can set up some proper roosts and stuff, because yeah, the plan is to basically have a small chicken farm. So anyway guys, hope this has helped somebody. Yeah, drop it in the comments. I can do a much more detailed description of how this is built, and it is very basic. At the end of the day, it's pretty cheap. Like, I've used treated plywood, I've used stainless steel screws, all that sort of thing, because as people are aware, chicken poo is very toxic, or it makes things rust really quickly and easily. So I figured I might as well just use the better quality stuff. So technically, if I was to calculate a rough cost, the sheet of plywood here in New Zealand, I think was, from memory, $73 or something. Don't quote me on that, but all up, this has cost no more than $100 to build this rollaway nesting box. And say if I was to put divisions in it, I could probably comfortably call this a 4-bay nesting box. But because I don't have the divisions in, technically, if they wanted to, you could probably honestly have 6 to 8 chickens in here laying all at once quite comfortably. So that is the bonus of not having the dividers. But But yeah, to go and buy one of these here in New Zealand, a very cheap tinny looking version, you're looking at I think it was around $230 to $250, and that is for one that honestly you'll probably be replacing in 2 years, not even that. Whereas I feel like this design here, using plywood and everything like that, it'll probably last a very, very long time, at least 5 to 10 years I would imagine, maybe longer, who knows. But anyway, yeah, drop it in the comments if you want to hear a much more detailed version, and maybe I can draw up a bit of diagrams and measurements and that for people, because I feel like this sort of thing, people should be sharing it. Anyway, like, subscribe if you're into homesteading, outdoors, all that sort of thing, and I will catch you guys tomorrow with the results of this nesting box.